Hi, my name is Wes Hall. I'm here to talk to you about an e-school course that we're now offering online at IHOPU, International House of Prayer University here in Kansas City, and it's called the Restoration Prophets. Now, what are the Restoration Prophets? After Israel returned from captivity in about 537 BC, the Lord had sent them back specifically to rebuild the temple of God in Jerusalem and to offer worship and prayer there as His people. Now, in the midst of building the temple, they grew weary, they grew discouraged, there was all kind of difficulty that came against them, and the Lord raised up Haggai, Zechariah, and Malachi to encourage them, even in the face of difficulty and in the face of delay, to build the temple and to worship with a wholehearted worship of God. Now, this particular course, while we call it Restoration Prophets, it focuses primarily on the books of Haggai and Zechariah. And the books of Haggai and Zechariah were messages given specifically to help the people of Judah rebuild the temple when they were facing difficulty. And they are such powerful messages for those today who are seeking to establish an altar of night and day prayer, night and day worship in their church, in their city, in their community. Because the devil does not want the church to be a praying people. The devil does not want that altar of incense, which is prayer, going forth. And he will bring all kinds of accusations. He'll bring forth all kinds of difficulties to stop God's people in the task of seeing night and day prayer, or prayer at all established as a priority in what the Lord is doing on the earth today. And so the messages are very, very significant for us as the church. Haggai comes along. In a couple of months, he calls God's people to consider their ways. He gives them a fresh vision for what they're doing and what the Lord is going to accomplish through the building of the temple. And they begin building again. Through Zechariah, their hearts are encouraged that God is committed firstly to them and secondly to everything that He's promised to do. Sometimes when we sign up to do the task of prayer, we think that we'll begin on Monday and the answer will come on Tuesday. But of course, often that's not the case. The reality is God has orchestrated divine delays in His plan, and we can pray on Monday and the answer may not come for 20 years. But rest assured the answer will come. And Zechariah's audience were faced with this same dilemma. We're building hard at great personal cost, at great personal sacrifice. When is the answer going to come? Has God forgotten us? And the name Zechariah actually means God remembers. And so the Lord raised up a man called Zechariah who said, God remembers who you are, and God remembers everything He's promised to do in restoring His glory to Jerusalem, in restoring His glory to Israel. And you know what? They'd given up building for 16 years this temple. And within 4 years, the temple was rededicated. Now, the rest of the book of Zechariah goes on to describe in more detail some of what the future plan of God is specifically for Israel. And because Israel is the centerpiece of God's plan to bring His kingdom on the earth, it gives us great insight concerning the return of Jesus, concerning the events surrounding the second coming, the great tribulation that is coming on the earth, where the epicenter will be the city of Jerusalem and the people of Israel, but also the great glory that will follow at Jesus' returns. At Jesus' return, how God is going to be king over all the earth from Jerusalem, how the nations are going to flow to Jerusalem, and the knowledge of God's glory from Jerusalem is going to be displayed in all the earth. So again, these are very, very critical books for us to understand. Those who are seeking to build a life of prayer, to stay steady in prayer, the messages of Zechariah and Haggai will encourage you immensely. But also those who need to understand the place of Israel in God's plan and God's plan for the future. Zechariah 12, 13, and 14, I believe, are some of the premier chapters that give in detail the timeline of what is going to unfold around the return of Jesus. If we want to be familiar with the events that are soon to be upon us on the earth, we need to be familiar with these books.